This is Marlo Higgins, your Chief Inspirational Officer, and you can catch me this week on the Jesse T Show.
The mighty, the powerful, the understanding Marlo Higgins. Welcome to the Jesse T Show.
Hey, Jesse, thanks for having me. This is going to be a blast.
It is already a blast. I love our connection, our dynamic. You just know when you meet people that are going to do some big things together. And I felt that when we first connected. And I just want to share that enthusiasm of who you are and what you do with the world. So give us a little context and color. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, interesting. I think it's kind of hard to put ourselves in a box sometimes, but I started my journey in 2005. I call myself a triple crown entrepreneur. So how I have deemed that means that 2005, I started a company with two other business partners, and we launched a nationwide company. We had a concept and an idea. We had some venture capital money, which was very high risk.
Yep.
So any entrepreneur who's out there listening to this can really relate to kind of the stress that we were under, right? We had a goal and I had to reach it in the first 180 days. So I onboarded that opportunity as an entrepreneur to come on as the VP of sales in that partnership. And, my job was to start and oversee a sales team and had never done that before. So it was the path most charted because I didn't know what I was doing. Earl Nightingale has a statement out that, if you spend an hour or study of research in your chosen field, you'll be a national expert in 5 years or less. And I adopted that. So I literally figured out how to become a VP of sales for this organization. And we were in 39 states. We developed an international market. We launched over in Germany, and we really were humming. I mean, it was wildly successful. I had 237 frontline reports, and we had to navigate a lot of things. I had a lot of branding ambassadors for a product that was not known in the marketplace. And so my job is, overseeing the sales team is not only, teaching people how to be branding ambassadors, but really when you're uncharted, there's a lot of rejection, a lot of failure, a lot of the unknowns. And I really learned a lot about being an entrepreneur and helping people with performance and leadership at that early start. 2008 comes around. It's a worldwide recession. And I like to say I doubled my income in a worldwide recession without a college education. I'm 100% self-taught, right? Growing up in a single parent household, didn't have a lot of resources to, have a lot. And so I was kind of a scrappy leader. And so 2008 came around. I was wooed by a company, and they were interested in having me have the same kind of sales success that I was having with our startup. And it was the last thing I wanted to do, but it was an opportunity to take a company, it was 6 years old, and rebrand it. And so when I onboarded, I took profits up 220% in 180 days. Now, the reason I share things in numbers is because numbers don't lie. That becomes our reality. And so those are actual documented benchmarks of things that I achieved. 2010 comes around. So I'm 2 years into that gig, and I get diagnosed with a brain tumor. It kind of, rocks my world and takes me out of the corporate space. And so I took a year as a professional patient. And then in 2011, I decided to launch my own brand, Triple Crown. So started a company, rebranded another, and launched my own.
Beautiful. There's a lot to unpack there. And it seems like, these hardships and struggles that we're faced with and presented with a lot of times, obviously they test so many things, but they're a lot of times laid in front of us for a cosmic reason, whether that's to be an inspiration to others, whether that's to, correct something in your life that was out of alignment. So did you feel or come to realizations on either of those, like why this might have been placed on you, like a calling that has come from it?
Jesse, that's poignant because absolutely, and I think as we've gotten to know each other, I chased a paycheck. So when I say I, doubled my income, I was operating from a scarcity mode. And so I was only about the money. I gave up all the passion that I was having about being an entrepreneur and the things that I was doing and the companies and people that I aligned with. And so it was by no mistake. I got into that job 24 months into it. I was absolutely miserable. And because I'm bullheaded and somebody who's just kind of that fierce, it took the diagnosis of a, CT scan on a Friday afternoon to say you've got a, right wing spherical meningioma. It's a slow growing brain tumor. And, we need to look at things. And so absolutely. I mean, it took that big of a force to make me make a shift in life and to do what I do today.
It's, you know, some people's worst nightmare. And I've seen it pretty secondhandedly, but very close up. You know, my mom, she had her own fight with ovarian cancer that eventually, they gave her a year, it was kind of caught late, but she ended up fighting it for 8 years. And badass, stubborn, ex-military Vietnam vet, single mom, powerful. And so I think all of her intestinal fortitude and stubbornness really like helped her live for another 7 years. And it was interesting because my ex-wife and we would always want to like take care of her when it was time for her chemo treatment. So we would like move her in with us, and we were like, we're going to take care of mom. We're going to take care of mom. But in true mom fashion, she still took care of us. So she was cooking and cleaning and being present as much as she could until the chemo got the best of her, and she'd be down and out for like 2 or 3 days. And it was a beautiful, cathartic healing process for all of us to go through that, because it allowed to, do some generational healing and to do some conversations that we may not have had. And so as you went through your initial diagnosis, how did it feel? Like, how did it land for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody receives that news very well. I thought I was going in for fall allergies. I had a watery eye. I kind of had a plugged up ear. Really had no idea that it was something as serious as it was. And so nobody really expects that news. And at the time of the diagnosis, our boys were 13 and 15 years old, right? Really focused on them, and I did not think I would see our oldest son to his 16th birthday. So,
Wow.
I mean, the power that had over me, it was fierce. And, here's the thing. I'm not a reactionary person. So I wanted to absorb the information. I didn't want to scare them. So I needed to find out what this was all about. And so my approach, I mean, I knew about it for 3 months before he could even get the words out to say, hey, this is what's going on, and this is what I'm going to do about it, because I didn't want to scare them. And I think as any parent, as you described, even with your own mom, there's a level of protection that we want to give
No
them.
question.
And so things come out in a very unique way. And so I handled it very, in my own way. I probably should have out of the gates come out of it sooner, but still, even today, it's kind of hard to talk about, just because I don't know, it's just a tough journey, and it's something that, I don't know, I've just had to learn how to overcome, and I'm still not great at it.